Good God, you all.
It ain't you all, it's y'all.
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 Man, you sound like a karate movie. Y'all.
Yo.
Say it from right here with some soul. Y'all.
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 Let me show your goofy ass how to do this.
What's her name? Snoop did on the wire before my man shot her.
Oh. Man, it's been a minute, man.
I know, man. How long has it been since
the summer? Yeah, around our birthdays. You know, we're big in the summer. I know this year, now you're going to move around.
I'm not, man, I don't know. I know I am going to, like, start traveling this year because I didn't travel at all last year. So I think at the very least, I'm going to get out. But who knows what I'm going to do this year. This year feels so weird because it's like you don't know what to anticipate. You want it to be different, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you just still trying to navigate the same shit we was doing last year. So
I think you all going to still be working from home.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I think that's going to be in place for a minute.
Yeah. I think people still going to work from home. And I just think,
man, I just booked a flight to DR.
Yeah, I heard those are cheap. Like less than 100. How much was it?
It was...
Oh, my bad. That's Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Man,
DR,
I need to get on there.
DR round trip was like 3.
What?
That's not terrible.
That's for you and your family, right?
Man, God.
Oh, Lord.
Arriba!
Man, I had a great time down there. I love it.
I ain't never been.
The best time to go is now, because I keep it on the phone. It's like 85. It's 85.
Yeah, that's decent.
Yes. Even New Orleans is not bad. New Orleans like 65.
Yeah, like I'm going to California. I'm going to LA. Next month. This is like my first trip since December of 2019.
What?
Crazy. Wow.
Cali was my last trip.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying. I ain't been to Cali in like 4 years. So
I loved it. I fell in love when I went to Santa Monica, boy.
It's a good time. Yeah, Cali's a good time.
That's what's up.
All right, y'all ready to do this?
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
You was recording?
I was. I thought I was. I got most of that.
Talking about California.
Right.
And the DR.
Yeah, man.
All right, but yeah, you can bring us in.
Oh, me? As always, this is your girl, Miss Choose Wisely. On the behalf of Y'all Is Us, you got to right here to my left.
It's King B.
And then you got our newest guy right here.
What's going on, everyone? It's Zoe.
The new edition.
Yes, Y'all Is Us. We are back. This is a new season. And we get ready to bring you back to every platform, all the information that you need, and let you guys know that it's all about us.
It's a new year.
It
new
is.
Beginning. Man, 2020 was, it was rough. It wasn't as rough for me as it was for some people, but it was rough nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm expecting great things out of this year.
All right, what about
I mean, it started off wild, didn't
it?
Man.
We didn't get 5 days in until people was trying to turn DC on his head. So
man, listen.
I'm a little skeptical, so we'll have to give it some time. Come back around June, July, and we'll see how far we got.
Exactly. Well, we just sitting here, we just talking about traveling.
Yeah.
And seeing how, what we can do possible. I know I travel for a living and everything like that, but in doing your pleasure and leisure time, you was just saying you was trying to go where?
Yeah, we're going to take our talents abroad, man. Go to DR.
Yeah.
I need some of that sun down there.
That's it. Be careful, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to take care of ourselves the right way.
That's it.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, last year, it wasn't a lot of traveling going on for nobody. And, sometimes you just need to get away to have that reset so that you can come back and just be refreshed and get to popping it and and doing everything you need to do at a high level.
Yep.
So
especially when you see parts of the country having more fun than us.
absolutely.
So then you like, damn, am I missing out?
Exactly.
You feel me?
Right.
So it's like that's what I was just saying before we got on. Like I haven't taken a trip in over a year, so it's like I'm itching to, get back on a flight and get out of here, especially get to some warm weather. When you got places like Houston and Atlanta, like
Man.
They wildin'.
they're
wildin'.
like what COVID?
Yeah, COVID what?
Right. So
I done seen more brothers I know got strippers' booties on their head. He just
man.
bouncing with it. But
My dumb ass went to Iowa in September and was doing that. I don't know why I was trying to live like I was in Atlanta in Iowa, but
hey man,
man,
sometimes you got to get what you can.
came back, I was sick as hell. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it was COVID, it test negative, but I was sick for 2 weeks for sure.
man.
So
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm definitely gonna get out of here. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I just went to South Dakota for work,
Yep.
but it was peaceful.
Okay.
So I connected with the universe. So
That's it.
part of my aura,
Kanye vibes,
man,
Wyoming vibes.
man. I don't see why we haven't touched some of these states, but
Yep.
there was a good
Well,
hospitality.
I mean, you just told us that there's nothing there.
There's nothing there, but you
But
and God.
that's exactly that's perfect for you to just have like a retreat. You know?
But see, a lot of people probably not thinking that way. You feel me?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
we like entertainment.
Mhm.
You know, we like to go somewhere that's going up. So like, we don't think about going to places like Sioux Falls and like chilling with nature and like just experiencing something like the native traditions, things like that. We don't look at it that way. So it just depends. But you definitely need that balance though.
Yeah, and with us getting older, every year and
Oh man.
and just us being
Hey, speak for yourself.
getting better and older, but you know what I'm saying. But not only that, but you know what I'm saying. You have people are getting more in tune with their spiritual side. I believe.
I would agree.
So I mean, I think that's a spot where I think should be frequented a lot more, especially with Kanye. He been talking about that for some years now. I think people are going to start to populate that upper north. Is it considered northwest?
Yeah, kind of.
You say so, yeah.
And go out there and I wish I could have went to see Mount Rushmore. I really wanted to, but I was just tired of driving, and I was like, man. But coming back, and you seeing the sun, like the sun rising, I was like, man, look at this. Well, thank God for all of this.
We need a Mount Blackmore.
That's it.
Man,
I was just thinking that. I'm like, I ain't trying to, cap on you, because like it's definitely historic.
Yeah, and
but like I don't think I'm in a rush to see some white man on a rock.
I wasn't. I was like, man, who was? I said, we ain't got not one black person. Like,
Nah, we gotta do that one over.
yes, that would be.
If you can make a Mount Rushmore that's black, who's on it? Who's your four?
Oh man, you already know Malcolm and Martin. Definitely there, Marcus Garvey, and then I would have to put in my perspective, it'd be Miss Shirley Chisholm because she was the first black woman to get up into to the Senate. So I have to throw a black woman up in there too, since we had a good black woman that just came up into the.
I feel like I ain't gonna hold you though. I think the first woman that come to mind I would put up there is probably like a Henrietta Lacks. You know what I'm saying? Like she played like a crucial part in like modern medicine. That's the woman who. With her stem cells, and now they're being regenerated. Like that's major, So like when I think of like a historic black woman, I would put up there. Like, that's the first person that comes to mind.
So we don't have Obama up there.
Obama's been bugging lately.
Yeah, but you know what? And
in my opinion,
see, that was
bro
gonna
been
ask.
bugging.
I was gonna say, let me rephrase that because I got to go back and look at some of the stuff that Obama has not gotten done, and we now can say something about it.
That's a conversation in itself.
Yeah, man.
But you don't want to trigger nobody. People love.
Yeah, this is the first episode back, so let's ease into that one.
Yeah, we gotta tread lightly.
Exactly.
Let's ease into that one. So with this being our first episode back, we're gonna get into some conversation. Zoe being the newest addition, man, he brought this into our group chat, man, and I want him to go ahead and bug into it real quick, man. What we was talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I think the important thing, we kind of alluded to it, right, when we talked about places that we have interest in traveling to. A lot of times we want to have fun, we want the entertainment, but we don't really consider a lot of places that not only can we have some of those, spiritual experiences and really connect with nature or whatever the case may be, but, you mentioned Kanye, like he talks about owning land, and the reason why he went to Wyoming, you know, because a lot of that land is cheap, you know, and I think this narrative that we're hearing a lot is this idea of ownership, right? So it's like, you know, owning property, owning your business, buying land, especially land because they're not making more of it, right?
Exactly.
So, but in order for a lot of us to get there, you know, you can't do it alone. You know, you can't do it by yourself. So it's important for us to start to adopt this mentality of like, how can we, you know, start participating in group economics and coming together and really like having a meeting of the minds and like executing on a lot of these ideas, man. I truly believe we holding ourselves back in so many different ways. And, you know, this topic is, you know, primarily around what's really keeping, you know, the Black community from coming together and sharing resources and, you know, executing on a lot of these, you know, ownership, you know, goals that we have and taking back our community. And I don't know about y'all, but there's definitely layers to this conversation.
Yeah.
It's like, where do we start, you know?
I'm going to start it, you know. I think it's like systemic habits that have been incorporated since, you know, slavery days. What was that video on YouTube where he was talking? I think it was the Black Dollar or something like that, and the white dude, he was talking about how do you get, you know, a Black person to spend their money, and so it's like,
kind of how long does the Black Dollar stays circulating in the community?
yeah, it's weird because
Really not at all.
Exactly.
it doesn't. You know,
It stays in within 6 hours.
I think believe in the Jewish community, it, you know, transfer hands at least like 17 times before it leaves. So
we talked about that last week when me and Nikki had a phone call. I talked about how I had a friend who was talking about, you know, using resources to, I think, finish a property or whatnot.
okay,
And, you know, he's Black, but he deal with all Jewish people because Jewish people are connected. They all, oh yeah, I know a guy that do this. I know a guy that got this. I know a guy that can do this for you.
right.
And they share the wealth pretty much. Black people do not do that. And I don't understand why they don't.
Because B, it has to only be one of us at a time. Can't be too many of y'all up in here.
But that's and that goes not only from like economics, but that even goes to like entertainment. Like there's always a gatekeeper. You know, they say Kevin Hart was the gatekeeper as recently in entertainment. Like while he was on top, nobody else was really getting no shine.
Yeah, if he said you wasn't funny,
that was it for you.
Yeah, no parts. Yeah. You're not getting nothing.
That right there, you know, it's kind of like a crab in a barrel mentality.
Absolutely.
You know, or whatever. It's like, and I think, and I know my friends probably gonna be offended. I don't care. I was telling B, I said, there's a group of us, 20-some years deep, you know, putting out there. I'm almost 40. There's no way.
Out there all the time.
Yeah, but now it's close. Smacking me in my face. None of us have everything all together.
Right.
So you got one person that's always going out heavily. So I'm like, so why is it that you don't have somebody that got banking information, somebody know about property, somebody knows about farming, somebody knows about this, somebody knows about that. None of us have none of that. So is that the kind of traits? Is this from educational wise, or is this from how we learned when we growing up and living in the home, being raised?
It's both.
A little bit of both.
Right.
Because in a way, you should want to get out of that slave mentality of like, hey, we know he owns land over there. Because in L.A., let's think about it with snowfall.
Yeah.
Everybody in L.A. was Black that owned their own homes, but they all knew each other. They worked together as a team. So why the hell we can't do that?
I mean, we definitely did it. You know, you think of like Black Wall Street. You know, we had hospitals and airport landing strips, and
but that's the thing. Like when we get it, they know that if we have some stuff and it's successful and we're able to capitalize on it, we don't need them.
I mean,
because we don't need them, they're gonna suffer from it. So.
Yes,
in order for that to not happen, we have to get rid of them capitalizing on their great endeavors.
That's true, but in order for that to happen, you got to think like as a collective, we got to adopt that type of mentality. Like when we were forced to stick together, we made it work. We took pride in, a lot of HBCUs came out of, that early era, right, around integration. So it's like, what really messed us up, in my opinion, was, when the civil rights law was signed, and we were able to go to the same schools, live in the same communities, and we thought integration was going to be like the way for us to finally be accepted in this country. We made a huge mistake, because then we started associating success, wealth, happiness with close proximity to whiteness, right? Like, oh, I'm going to live where white people live because that means I'm successful. I'm going to do the same jobs as white people because then they'll accept me.
Exactly.
You feel me? So, like, we lost that mentality of we can do for our own, but I think a lot of that is coming back. I think it's a resurgence of, like, black pride and people, like, getting back to, entrepreneurship and doing the things that I feel like we're inherently meant to do, so.
Exactly. And then at the same time, don't sit here if I know that Zoe has some information that he can share with me, why can't I share it with B?
Right.
And that comes into play, us all have our own different entities that we do own or project we got going on in ourselves. Someone came to me and was like, well, let me ask you a question. How did you do this? Okay, I don't know how I can help you with this, but you're watching what I'm doing and not researching on your own, because everything still is a learning process. So don't come and just expect us to just give you everything without you coming forth with some type of information. Let's be a part of the system a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To be able to help each other out, because there's so much money out here for everybody. Think about it. They're getting ready to open the floodgates with money. The only thing that I don't like is that we think that we need to have everything designed on our back instead of the money that they got from last year, because I know a lot of people participated in a bunch of stuff last year, but there's nobody still has anything left.
I mean, priorities, right? It really got to come down to like what we believe is important, not only for ourselves as a race, right, but like the things that we need to get back to in our community. So to your point about if I kick you some game and then you throw it at B, a lot of people don't want that type of exposure because they want to be able to control, right, who gets access to stuff, because then they can also control how much credit they get, right? And that's what it is. Like, it's not about what you're giving, you know what I'm saying? It's always what you're getting in return. A lot of people need that validation, right? And there's layers to that, right? That could be you lack of self-love. It could be, you don't, you got ulterior motives. It could be a number of different things, but at the very least, like, people that have access to information, I do think you need to take some initiative, right? Like, we live in a digital age. There's no excuse why you can't look a lot of this stuff up. But at the same time, if you come to me, be intentional. Don't just say, let me pick your brain. Like, what are you looking for? Why? How is this going to help you? Tell me what you're going to do with it. And then it makes it easy for me to, like, keep going. Because if I've learned something and tried it, if I give it to B and he doing it for the first time, I shouldn't care because I'm on to something else. You feel me? So, like, now you can come to me when you got questions about something I already did. That's the type of mentality I think is going to help us get to a point where now as a collective we can start, getting our communities back to the way we want.
Exactly. Instead of looking past the communities that we are from. Like, you guys are from Roseland, I'm from Inglewood, all Gresham area. We see these areas as are up and coming and developing. Some of us don't want to go back to it. So with the question that you're putting in hand of saying those resources, do we go back and pour what we know now and back into the resources of where we're coming from?
I still claim Roseland, but Inglewood, by the way. My people in Inglewood gonna get mad if I don't claim them. So
man, that's real. Definitely.
No, I mean you don't have to live there to give back and help. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the whole point of you leaving that environment to have different experiences, to go through some learns, to hopefully get to a point where you have the luxury to be able to come back and donate, volunteer, give back, kick game, whatever it is. you got to be prepared for that for yourself. So you can't just like, but at the same time, you don't have to be completely consumed. You don't have to prove a point like I'm gonna live here. You know what I'm saying? To prove a point. We know how, like, if you don't have the need, or if you ain't trying to really live that, you ain't got to do all that extra stuff to prove a point. You can, you know what I'm saying, protest and support and give back in so many different ways, man. But we like to control people's, you know, expectations and whatnot of what they should be doing. So
Exactly.
You good?
Yeah. Got a little chill. A little chill, people.
Let it out.
Well, I got a little chill like this. Wait a minute, hold on. You got COVID. Think you got COVID. No, I'm just playing.
My mask.
So, man, my bad.
But no, one of the reasons that I really asked Zoe to be a part of this is because he's got something going on called the Rosen Collective.
Yes.
And I think this is going to be a very, very powerful movement. And for those who haven't heard about it or are in tune with what he's got going on, I would want you to elaborate on it and let people know what it is.
Yeah, no doubt. I appreciate that. So the Rosen Collective is urban development and civic engagement redefined, right? So what we mean by that is we're going out and acquiring assets in our local community to really create the areas that we take pride in living in, you know, that we can enjoy, but also addresses issues of public concern. So, you know, when we think of the lack of cultural competency and mental health here in Chicago, which is one of the biggest issues we deal with, also the lack of access to healthy foods, right? You know, a lot of us are still very much so located in food deserts, and it's something that we have to start to really get creative in how we address these type of issues. You know, we brought up circulation of the black dollar, right? The lack of financial literacy, and how do we start to truly invest in these young kids that are, you know, focusing on robotics and STEM, that are extremely smart, you know, just need the right framework and guidance to start to capitalize on a lot of the things that they're passionate about and very skilled in. So, you know, our goal is just to partner with other organizations to allow these things to manifest, so that way when you go out into areas like Inglewood, Woodlawn, you know, Auburn, Gresham, you feel proud about what you see, because it's, you know, bringing back a resurgence in the black community, so we can, you know, see more black-owned businesses, we can see more, you know, of our own educational institutions created, and so on and so forth. So definitely, you know, a great journey to start. It's something I'm just, you know, personally passionate about, because a lot of these different areas have affected me in some way. And man, I'm just looking forward to getting out and doing what I can for the community. So
that's what's up, man. And if you guys haven't, make sure you guys follow Zoe, follow all of us here on Y'all Is Us. Man, that
ain't it.
I know it ain't, but I'm just saying. That's what I'm saying. But you want to make sure that, because that Roseland right there,
we got some more coming.
We do, because I'm like, say that Roseland Collective, that sounds like, man, put the hands into the pot. We want to see what kind of gumbo this young brother, and I know that B is gonna be a part of that too, in some type of way. Of course, I'll help out any way as possible.
Yeah.
And from anything, information that you give us, I'm always, and like I always, when you throw out something, I'm like, I know this is a good file. So
since I've reconnected with Zoe, since we've been adults, it's always been information that he's been able to.
Yeah, because a little backstory, we grew up together, went to, you know, elementary school, you know, like down the street. So it's definitely a full circle moment for me, which I appreciate, and it just shows, like, you know, when you on the right path, you know, people will start crossing it at the right time. So,
by the way, Zoe was in the gifted class. He was in the accelerator. So, you know what I'm saying?
Bro, all we could do is just add numbers a little faster. You know, gifted in CPS is like, you take that with a grain of salt.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That was, don't do that.
Yeah, just a little humble flex. Teachers asked me to speak at 8th grade graduation.
Oh, me,
I turned it down.
Yeah, see, I ain't never get that opportunity. Everybody asked me to
speak.
speak.
They let somebody in your class speak, but that's another story.
We'll talk about that often. I'm trying to see something.
Yeah, crazy. Oh man. So with the get back to the topic with everything at hand. Well, we're talking about the resources. What type of resources are we trying to bring to our communities? So I'm feeling from where we come from, like you were saying, the financial literacy
absolutely
has got to be enforced religiously.
Yeah.
Reason being, even as adults, we still make some type of financial mistakes. It could be like, oh, I'm stressed out. This looks good on my wrist, or this looks good on my feet, or something like that. But you got to be able to get disciplined about certain things, especially if we're trying to acquire land. And what people not understanding is, like Zoe was saying, we were talking about, the land is way more important than owning that piece of property.
Mm-hmm.
Because obtaining that land, no matter what, they have to pay you to build on that land.
Right.
And what people don't understand is, with land, you can start, cultivate, harvest your own food.
Yeah, and I'm gonna drop a little bit of game on you. You also, when you start learning about the tax benefits you get from, let's say you own a piece of land, and if you are engaging in activities that the government wants, whether that be agriculture or creating housing, jobs, energy, like, you're gonna get major tax breaks. So like, you have to start to think with the mentality, like, we can't get mad at wealthy people for finding ways to, pay a small amount of tax. You got to learn the game. So like, if I have a lot, and let's say I create, I can start a farm, that's agriculture. Like, not only am I gonna get tax benefits, but there's grants from, the USDA that'll help me, like, make sure I can get, all the products I need, tools, whatever. And then I'm gonna just add an extra piece of that. You also get tax breaks if you buying, like, manufacturing equipment and stuff for, like, research. So I mean, there's layers to it. You just gotta, like, engage in activities where the government gonna look out for you, and then you'll start to see, like, a lot of your money stick with you. So it's learning information like that and applying it, but then sharing it.
Exactly.
You gotta get out. You feel me?
Queen Sugar, all in the same. Man, because that's exactly how it sounds like to me.
But yeah, so I think it's two things that are important as far as resources go. Financial literacy being one, and the other one is something that Zoe is very passionate about, and it's what we eat. In these communities, Roseland, Inglewood, Woodlawn, I could go and get flaming hots with cheese all times of the day.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I can't get a salad though all times of the day.
No, you can't.
What's that?
Exactly. You know what I mean? So
what's kale?
Exactly.
Man, you feel me?
And from a previous episode that we had, Zoe also informed us that what we eat directly affects our minds.
Yeah, that's it.
When you get hungry, like you said, your stomach starting, it's the correlation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Same thing when you get nervous, like butterflies, like that's not by a chance. And that came from, like, me doing a lot of work in mental health over the last 3 years. So, like, once you start learning the psychological piece, like, there's obviously a physical part to that. You know what I mean? Like, people like to separate it, but it's one and the same. You feel me? So, like, to your point, going back to, like, the communities we're in and what we consume, right? We was talking about what we consume on social media and whatnot, but, like, what we eat, you got to have proper gut health, because there's, like, little messengers in your gut that tell your brain certain functions or certain things that aren't working right. So it's like, you imagine coming up, bro. I remember the candy store across the street from Gompers, bro. Like, 7:45 in the morning.
Exactly.
Like, candy, chips, 50-cent juices, honey buns before 8 a.m.
Yeah.
For years.
You know what I mean? Later.
And then getting out at
Colon
2:30.
jacked up.
Yes.
Getting out at 2:30, going right back to that motherfucker, and spending another $3-4.
Yeah, that's it. So imagine, like, the distraction is made from us to make better decisions, over the course of our lives. So it's like, it's better late than never. But you know how many kids we can save? You know how many families, like, if we teach them, how to, garden, how to, grow their own foods. But I also agree, like, the financial literacy piece is important, but that's only half of it. We do need funding, right? So we do need, like, our local politicians. We need people to, like, bring some of that money here, so when people crowd, defund the police and repurpose a lot of these resources, I feel it. Like, we need EMT support, for people that are dealing with mental health, not CPD. You feel me?
Exactly.
And it's like, that comes from people going down these streets protesting and speaking up. So, like, it's absolutely twofold to it. Like, we can control what we can, what we teach our kids and each other, but we definitely need the funding. Like,
and the
tell
police,
Biden cut the check.
Man.
And the CPD, institution is just one that's just never going to be correct.
None of the, like, no police department, none of that. It's all rooted in. Come on, we know what this is.
So to defund the police and then put that money towards something more useful, more resourceful, like education and our communities that we live in, I think that's a no-brainer. I don't know why it hasn't been done already. You know what I mean?
Listen, it's layers to that. We live in Chicago.
Yeah, I don't know why it takes for, some unarmed people to get gunned down for you to want to defund the police.
Man, and that's barely moving the needle.
Barely.
You know? Like, this city here is just rooted in so much bad politics. You know, that's really...
Gang culture, mob culture.
And a lot of people don't know that's where Windy City come from. They think it's the weather, and it's actually because of our politics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like...
Blowing through.
Yeah, it's tough out here. So, like, you got to think, like, where, you're going to be subject to your environment. So, a lot of that stuff trickle down in the black community, and it's like only so many people can get out. And nobody want to go back because they like, I did it. I don't need to pull you out the muck. Like, you should do that for yourself.
Right.
And that's a terrible mentality to have, man. That ain't helping nobody.
Can't do anything about it.
Nope.
And all they expect us to do is, they're going to keep digging themselves in. Like, we was just, I think I was
And that's what we do.
Yeah.
So, but it's not going to change until, you have people that are in arm's reach presenting you with better information.
Exactly. And I feel like not only is we were saying about farming, our education, our mental health, but also let's get into another part of what really happened with us during the COVID part.
What's up?
Make sure that the essential needs that we have is being granted to us. Case in point, you need your truck drivers. You need your transportation as much as possible. What about the fact that the traditional education is not the same anymore? That we're teaching entrepreneurship is great and everything, and we know that, hey, traditional education, hey, go to school, go to college.
Right.
But what about the trades?
Right.
Those trades are what we can get our resources from.
Yep.
Yeah, that's something that I talked about with my circle, my homies. We were sitting down in the living room, and this was like maybe 5-6 years ago. Like, we were in our 20s when we was talking about this. Like, to go to school, to go to elementary, to go to high school, and go to college, to get an internship possibly, and get a job, that's just backwards.
Man.
That's completely backwards.
That sounds exhausting.
What the plan should be is you go to high school, you learn a trade in high school, you get a job first. And then if you want to go to college to enhance that job,
okay,
perfect.
I mean, I don't think there's any right or wrong way. Okay. I do believe, though, Nikki, back to your point, like what we've seen with the pandemic, it is redefining, like, the purpose of traditional education, because a lot of these students had to learn remote. That really exposed a lot of the lack of, like, curriculum that was really, sticking with these students. And then you got to think, like, a lot of them are like, well, people are getting furloughed, laid off, a lot of jobs are going under. Like, I need to be able to use the technology and the means I have for myself. So I think what we're seeing coming out of this is a lack of dependence on these traditional school systems and more responsibility on us as, community members, parents, whatever the case may be, and, like, teaching out. You got to learn about credit. You got to learn about finances. You got to learn about real estate. Like, and that's why you see, if you go on, at least for me, I follow a lot of thought leaders and people that have their own business that's talking about these different things that have now, like, formed, multi-million-dollar enterprises based off intellectual property. And, like, you don't have to go to DeVry no more. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can learn the laws of life, but it's on you. That's where, like, you got to take the initiative. School ain't gonna prepare you to learn taxes and how to buy a house. You feel me?
Man, you can go on YouTube and find out whatever you want to know.
Exactly, because somebody did it. And I would never think that, I would say about 18 years ago, I was like, okay.
Don't show your age, Nikki.
Man, I don't care.
I'm over here like,
man, I'll be 39. So I look at it like this. I have heating, air conditioning, and electrical. So with heating and air conditioning, reason being, I said, well, you know what? Everybody needs that done in their house. So I thought about it. I said, man, I might as well get a trade and have my schooling on the back just in case this falls back. And that's where I think we need to start going in. The first school that taught us about trade, I would say, shout out to Dunbar. I went there for like a semester.
Okay.
And we learned how to cut sheet metal.
Okay.
Bring back the trades into the high schools. Okay, everybody want to be a chef. That's cool. We all need to eat. But are you showing just the damn seafood part of it and surf and turf? Nobody's showing. Okay, every time they do a meal prep, you see them do the same thing.
Right.
Green beans, asparagus, plain, rice pilaf, some damn fish.
Wow.
Okay, salmon ain't the only best fish out there. Get some halibut in your system. Get you some real good
sea
tuna.
bass.
Yes, you know what I'm saying? And cod. Do something better, you know.
None of that tilapia.
No,
you know?
bro, I don't even touch that no more. I was like, that ain't a real fish.
Yeah, I still eat catfish.
Man, got to.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the blood, man.
It's
DNA.
Especially down south. Especially down south. The electricians this year have made more money than a person that has a degree, a master's degree. Electrician, HVAC, construction, person that has their own dump trucks.
Yeah.
All these people that have these type of trades have made more money financially than a person that worked at a 9 to 5.
And I think not only is that for a lot of people maybe surprising, right? Because it's like, man, how much you invest in like furthering your education. But what I've noticed is a lot of these, you know, as far as bringing back trades, like we know school not going anywhere, right? Like education is, these traditional schools aren't going anywhere. I mean, it's the largest nonprofit in this country next to the medical, you know, like department. So it's like it's not going anywhere. But I do think it's somewhat of a moral responsibility from a lot of us that may have our own business to teach out and start sharing this information and getting people like, you're almost creating a school for yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like educating our own community and not waiting for like the schools to get funding for it or to approve certain programs, you know, like all the bureaucracy. Like we can definitely take control and do it ourselves. There's a lot of people doing it right now.
Don't you got some people that have their own school?
Yes, I do. Shout out to Andrea Jackson and Y.A.L.L Jackson. Those two. And no, actually, his name's Y.A.L.L Jackson and Omar Moore. They have innovations. His wife is Andrea. Shout out to her. They have their own home. Man, that's the first time everything.
Never gave nobody this phone number. I don't know why it's ringing.
Okay.
You want to check that?
Nah.
It might be a bill collector.
Right.
But they have their own school. They homeschooling their children.
Okay. Love
and then also, too, they have their own, the vegan food product that is now in the stores now.
Okay.
Or whatever. It's called Shock and Shrimp. Shock and Shrimp. Very good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so if you go to Nick's right there on 105th now in Western, they serve it there. It's up in Hyde Park, those two black-owned stores over there.
Okay.
Now, this is vegan shrimp, right?
Vegan shrimp.
Yeah, I don't know if I trust that.
That is delicious.
But best of luck to your product. Hope it sells.
Man, I'm telling you, bro, you're gonna be like Nikki.
I might try it though.
Try it.
I'm not a.
Nothing wrong with venturing out.
Right.
Yeah,
What I'm saying, don't have a.
Come on now. I'll try anything once.
Right.
You know.
And you know, because I'm go back to what we were saying about we were talking about the trades and how that brings those resources back into the community. Yeah. Reason being is because everybody now we thinking we're going to go back outside, and we know for a fact it's not going to happen probably till like September 2021.
I'm back outside.
But the reason I would say this is because, a lot of people are developing their homes.
Okay.
And guess who they're calling? All those people to expand and make their home, or they're like, hey, if they're going to shut it down, let me entertain in my home. And you're doing nothing but adding more property value to your home.
Yep.
People are creating these bars in their homes now.
They are.
And I've seen some creative stuff.
Yeah, and to add to that, the city just approved the ordinance to do accessory dwelling units, basically like outhouses behind your crib. For a while, you couldn't do that, but now you can create like a little guest house.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it's great. We always talking about going back to ownership
Mm-hmm.
and investing. Like, now, you know, if you want to get some creative while you in the house anyway, go ahead, put your little house in the back, little guest house, Airbnb the main one out.
Man.
Now you got some income coming in.
Man, and it's funny you say that, because when this pandemic first started, whenever I drove past a Home Depot or Menards, it looked like a Drake concert.
Packed.
It's
Yes.
loaded with people.
Yeah.
Cause they were.
I was in there 3 times a week.
Man,
Yeah.
see what I'm saying?
What was you doing? Oh, I forgot you just bought
Yeah, so I was just getting the crib together, man.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. I'm like, man, it can't be that much going on. Like,
Yes, it was, because I was out there as a contractor owning my routes. That's all we was shipping out. Was nothing but lawn chair stuff. So if you're smart, right now is the best time to get that, your line, everything together. Me personally, I am definitely going to do that. Because if they're going to shut it down, hey, man, you know what? We're at this point. Let us build here, add on to this property value, and then just in case make something happen, you can always pull that equity out
Right.
to be able to go buy another piece and then just keep adding on to your portfolio. But those are resources that I've seen that was everybody was looking for. They looking for a plumber, electrician. Hey, who's an inspector? These are the things that we're looking for. These are the things that I think in your group you should have. Somebody need a lawyer. Somebody need a CPA.
Mm-hmm.
You need somebody that's a general contractor. You need a plumber. You need an electrician. You need a baker. You need a mechanic. You need all these people, because that's all we're going to do. Hey, man, you know what? My ABS system went out. Yeah, go talk to Henry over there with the cigarette. He know what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's how you start pulling this thing together. And that's what I know me and Brandon, we had a conversation. I was coming back from Kentucky about this. And I'm like, why is it that you cannot go within that little circle? And you know what? With you guys, y'all circles are always like intertwining. Like where you guys grow up at, the people, your friends that you guys are around. So you guys are probably always off down. Hey man, so-and-so got this. Okay, well then so-and-so got this. But we talking about me with my people and friends. None of you motherfuckers got that. You don't want to do it. Nobody wants to go out there and work. They might say, okay, well, man, who gonna watch the kid? Okay, if you got one person in banking, you should be able to enlighten us on how to be able to get the codes, or at least give us some type of insight.
But like, here's the thing: you can't want more for your circle than they want for themselves.
Exactly.
You feel me? So it's like, you know, it's like that saying go, if you know, 9 of your friends is broke, you're going to be the 10th one. So it's like, you have to, if it's not in your close proximity, that's cool. Like, you know what I mean? I don't expect my best friends to have the same drive and vision like I got right now, whether it be with real estate or getting out to the community. Like, that's cool, but you got to be working towards something. I get that. And it's an accountability conversation, but I don't expect it from them. And if I do need that type of, like, you know, energy to be around and like learn some game, then you just gotta go around people that got it, that's doing it. You know what I'm saying?
I think me and Zoe, because we have such a similar background, I think we got lucky. You know what I'm saying? From where we come from to where we ended up. Like, I know you went to Lincoln Park High School, which is completely different from. Exactly, it's completely different from if you went to Finger or Carver, Julian.
Don't get me started.
Which,
no offense to those schools.
Exactly.
Hey, look, come on, don't get me wrong. I had some people that went to them schools. But
actually, when I graduated 8th grade, I was enrolled in Finger. That's where I was supposed to go. Luckily, we moved by then, and I had went to Richards, which was a mixed school. So
man. I shared that story on my IG Live, bro, about, you know, I didn't pass the test to get into like the Kenwood and the Brooks. I wanted to follow my friends to go to Brooks. And I ended up having to go to Carver Military Academy, bro, because I lived on 121st in Indiana. So I had to go to Algier Gardens. I told my mom after I left that first day, I'm like, get me out of here.
So wait, they automatically sent you there?
Yes, sir. It was my neighborhood school, so I had to go.
How? Because I stayed on 125th, and they sent me to Finger.
No clue. But,
which is the opposite direction.
By the grace of God, we moved some pieces around, and I went all the way to the north side. It was my first time up north like that. I mean, as a shorty, I lived up there, but like going every day, wow. But you need experiences like that, man. Cause
and it opens you up to. I don't know. That was the first time. Like, I had no white friends prior to going to high school. I don't even think I knew any. I didn't know any white people, to be honest with you. But one of the first people I met at that school was white. Ended up being cool with him, and then that just led to, you know, a widespread of interracial interactions. You know what I mean? So like
that's cool too.
I think that's important as far as like when you're building a circle and you want a variety of people that can assist you with different resources. You got to have a variety of people at your availability.
You got to get out your comfort zone. What it did for me was it gave me perspective, right? Because it exposed me to stuff I ain't never seen before.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So it's like, you know, I'm on Armitage, you know, even though I'm going to school with kids from Cabrini Greens, you know, we still got 14, 15-year-olds driving their mom's Benz,
Right.
they dad BMW, pulling up, like, doing whatever they want. So it's like, you know, coming from where we come from, you're going to look at that and be like, man, I'm going to take it because, like, I deserve that for whatever reason. Or you're going to get motivated like, man, I want that. So that's the point, you know, we make it. If you don't see it at home or you don't see it in your close circle, you got to get yourself outside of your comfort zone and exposed to something different. And you'll be surprised of, like, the perspective it'll give you and, like, the motivation it might have. So,
yeah, if them cats on 103rd and Halsted, you know, ain't about it. Them cats on 103rd and Central or wherever you at, you know, that they, you know, you just got to change the environment. Like I always said, like, if a plant don't grow, it's not the plant's fault.
right.
You got to change the environment.
Right.
Exactly.
You got to move that plant to where there's some light at so it can grow. You know what I'm saying? So it's no different for people.
It definitely isn't. And, you know, you can't look at it like, okay, well, I'm doing so much better than them. Don't put that on the perspective of looking like I'm going to look down on this
No, I
person.
think it's because you're passionate and you expect more of them. But if they don't expect more of themselves, then you can't get upset about that.
Man, because you start to think about, like, you know, retirement is on people's brain. I am ready, you know.
And I mean, like, not only that, but, like, we've been conditioned to think I got to work, you know, 59 and a half years to only enjoy 11. You feel me? So it's like,
It's crazy.
right? So it's like, not only do you want to have to you know, to be in a position where you can live the life you want when you old, when you can't really, like, move around, but you want to leave a legacy, you want to leave something for your children, handle funeral expenses, whatever. And it's like, we got to start early having these conversations and trying shit that, like, it's going to help us own more and, like, see multiple streams of income come in. And, like, we can't do it by ourselves because you got to think, like, the more we share and we do this as a collective, like, it's only going to create bigger deals, bigger opportunities, whatever the case may be. But I feel you, though. It is, like, tough wanting to see more for your friends and people around you. But, like B said, you can't force it. You know, you can't want more for them than they want for themselves. And you would just hope that as you know, start to walk into the things that you're doing, it'll motivate them to want to, you know, make some change. So that's all you
Be
can
that
do.
beacon of light, Nikki.
That's it. Yeah.
You out here, you got multiple businesses going for yourself. You know?
Man. And you know what? I want to say, you got to thank the creator for that, you know, because the background story is a whole nother show. That'll be our probably entrepreneurship thing because I know all three of us got something going on. But with that being said, you got to have faith in everything that you're trying to do, especially with the resources that we're trying to get and the aura that you're going to be around with that. And now that we're really talking about bringing back, you know, we all saying something, let's get back to the Black Wall Street. Let's be better than the Black Wall Street because they took that down from us. So if Roseland Collective is one part of how we're going to get back to Black Wall Street, then let's start feeding into that plant and start watering and nurturing and talking to that plant and giving it what it needs over there. The same thing with, you know, with your media company. Same thing with, you know, the two businesses that I own.
Right.
Stop being, I can't say it because, you know, all of our friends are still working, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. But the best thing I did was tell them it's not you, it's me to a job this week. I broke up with them like how Vince Vaughn.
They said you fired them.
Yeah, and they were pissed. They are pissed right now. Like,
That's their problem.
they're like, oh, you really did that? I was like, yeah, it's not you, it's me. And I'll never be back there again. So you have got to take that leap of faith. You know, and it's not for everybody.
Right.
But in order for us to get those resources out there, somebody had to be an entrepreneur to get us where we're at now. To
Right.
build a business on here. Okay, I'm gonna take this chance here, take this chance here, take this chance.
Yeah.
So you're taking a chance with Roseland Collector.
Right.
And like my favorite rapper, Big Crit, you're gambling on yourself. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I'd be lying if I said it didn't come with its own fair share of anxiety, right? Because, like, it's just me. You feel me? So it's like, I know eventually people will follow me on this journey and support and play particular roles, but, you know, I'm learning a lot, and I'm okay going first, you know, and, like, bumping my head and seeing what worked, you know, so I can come back and I can share that game, you know, and, like, talk about benefits of, you know, having your own business and, you know, talking about tax breaks and talking about how we can, you know, get access to stuff. It should just be regular everyday conversation. So for me, you know, it's exciting because I know it's a bigger purpose. You know, it gets stressful, but you learn how to, like, balance, you know, whatever stress in life. You know, no stress is, you know, any different than the next. So it's like, it's all about the volume of it and how you deal with it. But, man, I got a lot of support. I know this is bigger than me, so that keeps me going. And you just gotta, you know, remember your why, because, like, it's gonna be days where it's like, man, I don't want to do this shit no more, you know what I mean? I just rather focus on me. But it's like, I always have people that remind me, like, nah, you gotta, you know, they get me right back, you know, in my sport. So, yeah, it's a blessing to be able to have the privilege to do this type of work, you know, to have the wherewithal to be like, man, I want to give back to my community this kind of way, and, you know, I take it as a blessing. So,
man, just to know that, you know, this groundwork that you laying is bigger than yourself, you know. This is a legacy.
Yeah.
And you gotta approach it as such. You gotta look at it that way. So.
Right. And I think, like, you know, Nikki brought up a good point. Like, even if you don't have your close friends that are, you know, entrepreneurs pursuing certain trades or things like that, like, you have to find the community that is like-minded, that's in the same space. And I think the way we get there is we have to start prioritizing and supporting each other, but, like, in a very hyper-focused way. I came across a video, I can't remember whose video it was, but basically it was a group of entrepreneurs, and they were like, all right, I'm going to make this brother a millionaire, and the way we're going to do it is we all going to come together, and whatever our respective skill set is, we're going to pour into his business. You know how to do marketing, you do his marketing, you know how to do this, right? And we put our equity into him, and we invest in him until he gets to $1 million. Then when he's a millionaire, now we can switch. Let's focus on the next person. Let's make them a millionaire. You feel me? So it's like, it's that collective thought process, but you got to be hyper-focused, and you have to, like, in a certain amount of time, like, just pour all of your resources into someone.
Isn't that like how the Hispanics does, this little, like, no, not them. We're going to say, it is like them. One of them come over, they all stay in the house.
Word.
They all put that money in together. No, this is real though.
Let it keep going.
Because I know because they.
I'm laughing because I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Right, that one person. Hey, Pablo came over. So right, because I know Pablo. Not talking about you, P. So Pablo came over. He's like, hey, I gotta go back and get my family. So I'm gonna stay with y'all. Let's pour all the money in. Right. I'm in here for like a couple months, about a year or so.
Right.
Pablo brings over his family.
Yep.
So now the family that he was with, hey, they're gonna do. And that's the same way.
Yeah, that's how they be buying up the block.
Exactly. They buy the block up. They do that. The Asians do that. The Polish people.
Everybody do it.
Except us.
It's because everyone has a standard, right? So when you think of, like, the Asian community, like, their standard is family-owned business. So it don't matter what you do, you're working in one of the family-owned businesses. And you're gonna inherit it. You're gonna work it. Same thing, you know, if you come from Middle East, you know, Indian community, like, their standard is you go to the States, you get the highest education, you bring it back. So it's like, we don't have a standard where we go in and we have this mentality where we're going to work together, is because we've always been told not to trust each other.
Right.
You know, so when it goes back to B's point about this being systemic, it's all due to conditioning. You know what I mean? Like, we've been conditioned in such a way where, you know, our very livelihood is dependent on, like, how much we can trust people and, like, replaying these perceptions. So it's like, once we get rid of, like, these false perceptions that don't do us any good, then we can start, all right, how can I trust giving you $5,000 of my money and actually doing something with it, and then we can rinse and repeat. But it's like, it's layers to that, right? We got to deal with traumas. We got to deal with our emotions, the relationship between black men and women. I mean, it's a whole.
Man.
That's a 3-part series.
We're gonna talk about all that.
But
my condition has been conditioned. Man.
Yeah, so we
all
don't
that.
we don't have a standard, man. But I think it's coming to a point where like people are being more trusting of each other, and you know, you just got to take a chance. But it's, I mean, it costs us more not to do nothing.
Man, just sit back and just like, well, you know what? I should listen to Zoe and B. About go ahead and get him that 5. I just spent that on a bag. Right. You know, come on. Let's be real here. That bag is gonna deteriorate. You know what I'm saying? So, but a business, right? A business is not. That's all.
Here's my thing about that, because I like went on social media and I was like giving women grief about wanting a Birkin bag.
Oh
so, like,
man, I must have not missed that one.
But what I want to do is I want to apologize for characterizing women as buying Birkin bags as, you know, somebody that's not focused on ownership, right? The topic of this conversation. Right. The reason why I'm apologizing, because what I realized was a lot of these designer bags retain like their value. You know, you think of Chanel, the Givenchy's, the Yves Saint Laurent's, like they withhold 60-70% their value for decades, and some of them, if they resurface, they could sell for more than what they were worth, right? But here's the issue with that, women.
Bring it
up. Okay, yeah, that's true. It's probably a decent investment, but the goal is to have your money work for you. So why not use that same amount of money you was gonna buy a bag, and you buy a stock that pays out dividends, which is basically you got so much invested in this company, they're gonna pay you quarterly based on how successful they are. Then you take the interest from those dividends and buy your bag. So now, like, the money you was gonna just buy that one is buying you one every Christmas.
Exactly.
Like, that's the type of conversation we should be having. Like, black people absolutely deserve luxury.
Yes.
But, like, we got to go about it the right way. So that one bag you was going to get, just go ahead, buy you some stock, sit down for a little bit, now you can get your new one every Christmas.
Exactly. And I agree with him on that one. I'm not a Birkin bag, woman at all. Okay? Yeah. I was just sitting there.
North Face bag?
No, I'm not a bag woman carrying, period. I'm not a bag lady.
Put it in my pocket.
Hey, she said 4 p.m.
Man, I realized I was like, I'm a luxury car woman.
Yeah, you are.
Stop. It started. My condition has been conditioned.
Absolutely.
No, it started with me deciding when I was at CTA that I was gonna get a Range Rover, and I did.
Okay.
At 25, and I was like, damn. And then it just been. After that,
you gotta keep going.
Exactly. So I was like, okay.
Nikki had the Infinity.
I had that Mercedes. Wow. I've drove a lot of beautiful cars. So now I got the Cadillac. Somebody sent me a Cadillac, the new one. I said, damn. You know, when you go to the dealership, you know how they treat you. So you know how they treat you. Hey, you want some coffee? You want to try it? You go out there and drive that. You be like, damn, they treat you different. When you go to Chevy
69th and Western,
man, you're not getting treated that way. So instead of me sitting here looking at this new CT6 that's $70,000, we were sitting in my brother's barbershop because he just lined me up, and I was telling him Bama, I'm like, Bama, he like, woo, 70, what you gonna do? I said, I'm gonna buy 4 trucks with that. Them 4 trucks can
buy your.
Exactly. And the Cadillac can be put under what? OPM, other people's money, under my business name, as me being able to go out here and talk to my drivers. That's what type of mentality.
Whole thing written on.
You feel what I'm saying? Oh man, what happened? And then you probably get it at a cheaper rate. Probably won't pay $68,000. Probably pay maybe $40-some thousand because it's a business write-off. Well, I'm using this as a business thing, so let's go from there. That's the mentality now that you get at after, you know, messing up for so long and thinking differently when you're younger. You know what I'm saying? So,
right. You're doing the right thing, putting that asset in your business. Like, exactly. You don't want to own nothing personally.
Man, I was just, I swear, thank God for Zoe. You know, he came on here, good add to the piece. You know what I'm saying? He playing chess over here, not checkers.
Because Mr. IRS, I'm broke.
Man.
I ain't got no ends. Money tied up.
Exactly.
Hit him with the 50 cent.
Man, listen, I'm broke, baby.
But yeah, I mean, I think this was a good conversation that need to be had. Hopefully, people take these gems and apply them, however they need be. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, listening, watching, whatever you're doing. We appreciate your viewership. My name is King B.
I'm Miss Choose Wisely.
And this is Zoe, Z-O-E, by the way.
Z-O-E, by the way.
Yeah.
And this is Y.A.L.L, Youthful Alliance Lovers in Love, a.k.a. Y.A.L.L is Us. Be sure to follow us on IG at Y.A.L.L is Us Pod.
Yes.
I think that's what it is.
Yes, it is.
We're also on Facebook. Follow us there. And make sure you follow. 1 second. Let me edit this out anyway. And make sure you follow the NMG Media page on YouTube where you can see this live. Well, not live, but you can see it on there. So, again, we appreciate your viewership. Y.A.L.L is Us. Bet on Black.
Man, when you said that, I swear to God, I think I was having this conversation with my aunt earlier. And I was just telling her, I said, you got to use OPM. Of course, that's from off Dom Kennedy, his app. Yeah, other people's money. She's like, what do you mean? I said, get your personal credit up, completely up, as a protection leverage for yourself.
Yeah, because that'll at least ease the conversation you have with the folks.
Exactly.
Like, oh yeah, we can have it.
And then you go into there with that double A credit score for your business.
Right.
And then I said, that way, she's like, what do you mean? I said, that way, your personal credit is already put to the side. You go in there and you can talk to them on your business side, like, look, I want to buy this, this, and this. Well, what you mean? Look under my name. My name's been established for a year. We got this going. What are we talking about here? That's when how white folks come in, super confident. And then I told her after a year, you could be $1 million filling with business credit while your other personal credit's it.
That's it.
That's it.
And a lot of people right now, they building trade lines. So it's like if you work with certain suppliers or vendors, you basically can put them on net 30 payment terms. It's like, all right, just invoice me. I got 30 days to pay. You show a good history, 6, 8, 12 months of good trade lines, like you can get business credit that way too. Because they're like, okay, like your books look good, you doing right with your vendors, like you paying them on time, like, all right, cool, yeah, we can extend $50,000 in business credit.
Exactly, and it only takes, they say 90 days. That's harder. That's easier to get than your personal credit. And that's what one of my homeboys is saying. I definitely want to bring him in for stock because he knows the stock market from when Black Monday happened. He was there down there. And he was saying, he's like, Nikki, how you think I took all y'all out? It was like 20 of us at Redstone on Mother's Day. Oh, wow. He pulled out the black car. I said, are we all pulling out cash? I don't need that. I said, what am I doing? He said, my personal credit is jacked. He said, well, my business credit is great.
Yeah, and like people think like, that having good personal credit can definitely influence good business credit, but like collateral too. You know what I'm saying? Like if you got enough collateral, or like I said, the trade lines is definitely another workaround. Like you don't have to always like put up your personal credit, but it's extremely advisable to like work on yourself first, because like, it's definitely gonna make a difference. Because then, like, to your point, you can go to these banks and be like, yo, I'm trying to buy this car, like, cut me a check. You ain't trying to be negotiating with the dealership. You like, no, hey, because my rate with the bank, you ain't financing with you, I'm financing with my bank.
Exactly.
So they wrote me the check, I got the, decent interest rate. You was gonna balloon my shit, like, no, I'm doing this the right way. So.
Exactly. Especially tell them to grab nothing but credit unions, because credit unions is nothing but for us, by us anyway. Yeah. And we avoid that. Like, if I can, I got with Navy Federal.
Yeah, I got them too.
Man, you see what I'm saying?
They're the best.
Man, if
you
interest
rate's different, bro.
Man, you on a different level. Somebody, my homegirl that does all of my business stuff, she put me on them.
Yeah, I got my business bank account with them.
Man, see, that's my next thing.
Yeah, they make it easy. They get you.
Exactly.
They get you
It's
right.